obviously out for to confirm and discuss the Morgan Rielly 8-year contract extension. As an organization, we're thrilled to have Morgan's commitment for the 8 years, and looking forward to continue to work with Morgan and help him continue to grow as a player, and just continue with him. All we expect is he continues to act in the way he has as a person, which has been exemplary, and I think his character and integrity are beyond reproach here. So we're thrilled to have him and excited to continue to work with him and his family. They've been great since the day that I arrived here in 2014. So very excited for that, and with that I'll open it up to questions. I'm sure everyone has a few.
Kyle, obviously it's been your words, why crucial to get this done now and not have it quote-unquote hanging over the club through the year?
Yeah, I don't ever really look at it that way, Terry, but whether it hangs over or not, I think we've gone through it a number of different ways over the years. We've had deals done before. We've had guys go all the way to the end and free agency and stay and leave. And in Morgan's case, I just think, in having conversations with JP Barry and Jim Nice at CAA, and then conversations with Morgan, there was just a path to get it done. And obviously you hope to have them done as soon as you possibly can. Obviously that could have happened late July, but just we need time to kind of work through. Obviously with the flat cap, I think it makes things a little bit more difficult, as we discussed on the opening day of the season when we did media. But obviously there was a path forward. They wanted to try to work to get something done, and it was a pleasure to work with them on it.
In what ways do you see the integrity and what he brings in that department come out? Because we've heard it a lot and how esteem he's held in.
Yeah.
But we don't always see it.
No, I think, to me, Mark, where I see that manifest itself on the ice is that I think Morgan continues to grow as a player. His role continues to expand. He continues to improve defensively. He's usually one of the top offensive defensemen in the league in terms of production, but defensively, I think specifically in the last number of years, he's continued to grow and evolve. Now he's taking on more on the penalty kill, and I just think it's great. It hasn't manifested itself, as we all know, in the success that we ultimately want to have, but Morgan is really a steadying force and a great person that leads by example in there. And I think with the commitment for someone for 8 years, when you're signing them for that long, you need to know the person that you're signing. I think that makes you more comfortable than other positions where he's going to have a lot of pride in himself, and as he said to me last night, in carrying his end of the deal as well, and performing throughout those 8 years. And a lot of people you can hear that about, and you don't know. With Morgan, he's going to bring it every day, and in the off season continue to make sure that he's doing the work necessary to maintain his level throughout the term of the agreement. So I think, to me, without getting into the subjective stuff about character and glue guy and stuff like that, I think it's just, we know that he's going to do the work necessary to maintain his form throughout the deal.
What do you think will allow him to age well the deal?
Well, I think the work that he puts in, Jonas, and his attention to continue to improve and get better, but also I think his mobility is one area that leads me to believe that it'll age well with him, but also the work he puts in and knowing that that's not going to last forever as well. So I think as he's adapted, especially in the last few years, towards playing a little bit differently and not being taking as many risks. I think when we're losing games or we're down in games, you have to take those risks, and at times you can leave yourself open for exposure. But Morgan's done a great job, I think, especially last year, of adapting his role. I think that played itself out in the playoffs, where he played very, very well, and now he's taken on more of a role defensively on the penalty kill as well. So that, to me, is just his evolution as he's continued to mature as a person, what he's able to take on. That leads me to believe that I've got a lot of faith in him playing well throughout the term.
When you're involved in negotiations and the season is off to the start the way it is, does it have an impact at all in maybe some of the decision making that you might make?
I think in Morgan's case, David, that never really entered my mindset. I think it's certainly as the team goes up and down, I think it's my role to always maintain a long-term view of where things are at and not get so caught up in the wins and losses, though every single game teaches you something about your team. It's trying to look deeply at the underlying trends that exist within the club, where we are right now, what this means for our group, how we can use it to get to where we ultimately truly want to go as an organization and as a club. And so in Morgan's case, I think what Morgan's going to bring every day, and that when it's not going well for him, he's always going to do the work to continue to get back to the level that you expect of him. And so even with the team struggling, it never enters your mind that it's going to be something that Morgan's going to allow to fester in his own game, and that he'll be able to come out of it.
How does the group get back on track?
I think to me, Terry, I don't think anybody, I don't think you or anybody wants to hear any words about what the anecdote is or what we're going to be doing. I think it's all in our actions and how we play, our focus, our work ethic, our attention to detail. I think, it was, we were playing well. I think the Monday night game against the Rangers, we played well, and then we had, really the game against San Jose and the 4 games where we didn't play well at all. Everyone saw it. There's no reason to run from it or hide from it. I think everyone's tired of hearing from us about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. I think it's about going out tomorrow night and all through this homestand and getting back to work. I mean, the team has shown what they're capable of. Going back to last season, the regular season, beginning of this year, even the Monday night game against the Rangers, what we're capable of. It's, I think, just continuing also to stick with it. I think we have to go through this and we have to endure it. We've generally always started well here. This isn't the start that we envision having. My hope is that we're able to use this to go through and endure some difficulty and some question marks and some criticism and learn how to deal with that well and help propel us forward.
You mentioned you learned from every game. Have you learned anything about the group through 8 regular season games that you did not know before?
You think you learn something all the time. Every game and that you have the chance to be a part of this league, you're going to learn something about your group or the group of players. And I think for us, we've got a lot of new guys that we're integrating into the group. Some have come in and seamlessly fit in and played well, and others are trying to find a way. So for us, I think, Mark, it's about, we're coming in tomorrow night. We've got Detroit coming in. They're playing well. They've got off to a good start. And we know that they're going to work. They're a young team aspiring to continue to grow within our division, and we have to come out and match that. Otherwise, we're going to have a tough night. So it's on us tomorrow night to come out and show what we're made of and build off of the comeback on Monday and start to stack wins together.
You let things simmer a little bit more, Kyle, just regarding your other UFAs potentially next summer, Jack and Ilya, Jason. Just let that go for now, or what's anything happening?
Well, the negotiations with Jason have always been quite easy.
Take him off of
So with the others, I think we know the space that we're going to have. Obviously, it's a very similar conversation that we had last year throughout in these sessions. Goaltender is going to be a priority for us to maintain space for, and then with whatever else we've got left, and Brandon and I sit and go through this ad nauseum more than everybody can believe. But we'll get $1.2 million back onto our cap from the Kessel retention, which will be a boost. Obviously, a lot of that and more is going to Morgan, and then it'll be about adapting the rest of the roster to fit in and build the best team we can.
You've had to let other guys go. What kind of made Morgan his own case?
I just think the ability to replace him, Jonas, would have been very difficult. His willingness to want to stay and make something work with us, that I think is a little bit below the market. That made it work, and then just think everything that he brings inside the room every single day, but most importantly what he brings on the ice. We just thought it would have been difficult to really replace, and we're hopeful that Rasmus can continue to develop and they can complement one another in those roles, because we can't just have one guy doing that. We need multiple players to play in that style, and so our hope is that the two of them grow together and form that element on our back end and roll from there.
Sheldon was just saying, not thrilled with the defense, how it's playing as a group.
Yeah.
So far this season, he's obviously shaking up the pairs, and Justin will be a scratch. Just what's your sense of the defense on the team this year, and your feeling on the depth maybe as well?
I think when we went into the offseason, we committed that we didn't want to block out Rasmus and Timothy Liljegren and Travis Dermott, and so we wanted to make sure that they were going to be given an opportunity there. And so I think by and large they've played well when they've been in. I think obviously it's no secret that we expect a little bit more from our top guys. I think Morgan's played well, but I think the others would all stand in here and tell you that they're playing a little bit below the level that they were at last season. And that said, I think they've all earned the benefit of the doubt a little bit in terms of their history, that they're going to find their way and come back. So if they were players that we had kind of taken a bit of a leap on and said we'll try to put them in this role and see how it goes, and then they were playing poorly, I would have major concern. They're guys that have all been very good players in the league and very good players for us, and I know what they're doing off the ice to get themselves back and rolling, and I've got a lot of faith that they'll get back to the form that they showed last season and at the best points in their career.
Is it a relief, Kyle, to get Peter back so that Jack doesn't have to be overtaxed too early?
Yeah, it was not a good feeling at the end of the second period in the game in Ottawa to see Peter go down. So obviously, the intention was when you build it out, and at the beginning it's always great, and then your plan is always great until you walk out and different things happen, injuries, or some guys play above the level you expect, other players below, and you have to adapt. But obviously, I think Jack's played very well. It'll be great to get Peter in and rolling and have the two of them kind of form that tandem that we established that we wanted to in the off season, starting tomorrow night.
What have you seen from Mitch so far this season? Obviously, he took a lot of heat in the playoffs and hasn't had the point totals I'm sure you'd like to start this year. What are you seeing from him?
I thought on Wednesday night in Chicago was his best game overall. He just think getting back with John, they had a lot of success in 2018-19 together, obviously. And I thought the first game there in Carolina, I didn't think our team played well in Carolina, but then as the game went on Wednesday in Chicago, I think you saw him just more in motion with the puck and just look as his usual self, and he was having fun and building momentum. So I'm excited for Mitch. He's gone through this before in his career, and I think he's someone that cares deeply about it, and he's a wonderful hockey player. And I think when he's not producing, which is not very often in his time with us, he still brings a lot on the penalty kill and just his overall energy and the way that he plays. So I never worry about the production coming back with Mitch, and it was great to see him look like he was having fun and playing more free on Wednesday in Chicago. So we'll look forward to watching him again tomorrow night, because when he's at his best, he's one of the most fun players to watch in the league.